Hello, good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Rao Kulusu, uh, coming to the day two of our inside job for wellness and how we focus our inside to get into um, modalities of wellness. Yesterday was my first day. I introduced the topic, and I was going to do it 4 more days. What we can do with the lifestyles, the pillars of wellness, I call it. Uh, First one is the food. We're going to concentrate on that today, and then on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we will do the rest of the pillars of wellness. Hopefully, I can add some value to you and really encourage some discussion and comments from you so that you understand where I'm coming from. Like yesterday, I was telling I had been a physician for 4 decades and more, like a 43 years now, I think. So it's all observing a lot of people getting sick and ill and coming to the medical care, which is okay. That's why we are there. But we should not, as medical practitioners, we should not stop at that. We should look into deeper causes of why people are getting sick. Are there avoidable reasons? Can you really uh, dig in and then find out among our lifestyles and then correct them? Like we can eat better, we can exercise better, we can sleep better, or take more time to sleep, and also keep our mind quiet when it is not needed. That kind of thing, right? So it is a kind of paying attention to very common, basic things and then correcting them. And that is really important because most of the people are getting really uh, really sick, and then they come to the clinic, and sometimes they're too far away and we cannot really get them, right? So that is also there. So let me see, somebody wants to come up on the clubhouse, so let's see. Hello.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
I'm very good.
Yeah.
What about you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. I just started the topic. This is about wellness. Today we're going to talk about the food. You have any questions regarding that lifestyle food?
Actually, inside job. Job means you are asking about my career.
No, 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 not the job. This is like a what do you do for wellness in terms of uh, your lifestyle. That's what it is. Because everybody thinks we can correct everything outside, but they don't understand the things that develop inside. Like for example, food. A lot of people make it a addiction, and then a lot of people really eat it regularly because they don't really understand how the food is taken.
Actually, sir, I had a question because
Yeah.
I have some mentality which is, an introvert mentality.
Okay.
Like, I doesn't like to, connect with a lot of people in person.
Mm.
Like, if someone is there connecting, trying to talk with me on in person, like I feel overwhelmed, and I just try to ignore people. I doesn't
Yeah.
know why it has happened. When I was in
No, no.
childhood,
Wait, wait. Here.
this is not much. Like in my childhood,
Yeah.
like I just really need to overcome these things
That's
because
okay. This
I
is
doesn't
not the
even like
topic for
people.
that. This is not the place. There are so many people are waiting on so many other channels. So we can talk privately on that, but not on this room. This is room for about food and the lifestyles and the wellness. A series, okay? So we are kind of doing that. Okay. I will move you to the uh, this one and then we'll come back, okay, later.
So actually, like we are in private room, I think so.
It's not private room. It is a lot of people are there. Other channels too, Wisdom, Instagram, and other things too. We'll talk later. Get in touch with me, Instagram. I will be able to talk to you later on. Okay. Thank you. It's a mistaken identity. Let me talk what I want to talk. Then I'll invite people. That way, they can talk about this topic. The people who come to this room are expecting me to talk about wellness and all the pillars of wellness, how we can do the food and all that. So that's what I'm going to express, because I have seen this food become a problem in terms of lot of disease of civilization like diabetes, hyperlipidemia, heart disease, even a lot of eating disorders like bulimia, anorexia. We have seen a lot, right? That has become really a problem for a lot of people, you know. So when we really paid attention to that, people are saying that they never thought that the food has to be paid attention that much. It's more like a, they have to eat it, they will eat, and then they don't pay attention to what they are eating, how they are eating, how much time they are taking eating, or what kind of rhythms the food cycles have. All those things are not paying attention. Some people know about it, but still they are not paying attention because they are pressured by the work that you do. They are really driven by a lot of things that they have to do on a daily basis. So they think it's a waste of time if they have to really um, spend time to eat. That kind of attitude. So those kind of inside attitudes, inside habits that we developed over the years, that we want to pay attention and change them. That's why this title. But if you look at it, we have a diurnal rhythm, we have a body clock, we have a rhythms that going on in terms of we get hungry, we eat, and then we give time for that to digest and assimilate, and they form the waste products, and waste products eliminated from the body, and then the cycle starts again. We interfere with the cycle by eating something all the time, thereby killing the hunger cycle, and also really eating a lot more than we need to, thereby we get adjusted to that kind of heavy load on the stomach, and the stomach doesn't feel fulfilled unless you eat a heavy load, heavy foods. They make you drowsy and all that. Okay, so and then if you eat very late at night, then it doesn't have the time to digest and form the waste products to go. So ideally, what it is, when you sleep overnight and you get up in the morning, and usually you go to the bathroom, and then afterwards you get this a good appetite by working out, or just walking around, and then you kind of go and have a very good breakfast. That's the important thing a lot of people do. And then it used to be we can go out and work physically, right? It was like that for a long time. And then after you eat a good breakfast, lunch, maybe later on, maybe have something for the lunch, and then continue to work, and maybe evening snack. And but you usually come home and eat dinner, and that also light dinner, and then you can go to sleep. So that 2 hours before you go to sleep, if you eat, it has the time to digest, and that's a good normal cycle people should do, provided they're sleeping at night and then working. But then nowadays we work both times, sometimes night, sometimes daytime, and sometimes we wake up very late into the night, and then we eat all sorts of things at the midnight. That's not at all. So good formula for the food is good breakfast or heavy breakfast, light dinner, and very light dinner, and light lunch. Okay, good breakfast, heavy breakfast, light lunch, and very light dinner. That is a good formula not to accumulate a lot of weight, because when you eat good breakfast, you can go and work it out, you know, and then that will be very good, right? Lunch, don't have any snacks in between, but just have the lunch so that you have enough energy coming in again, and then also don't have any snacks between the lunch and the dinner. This is a good formula to maintain a very stable weight. But what is happening, we kind of get addicted to certain things. We have taste preferences. We get conditioned by the taste of whatever our families made from a lot of time, right? We get used to the mom's cooking, and then we get used to the certain dishes in our social circle and all that. Then people begin to snack, and then they also get used to that. So the taste thing is something we kind of turn against us, because we don't pay enough attention to them and see whether this is good or not. For example, if you are used to Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola is something that you want to really enjoy, and then you get used to that. You begin to drink that soda more often, and that becomes an addiction. I have a lot of my employees, a lot of my patients who were used to some kind of soda. Then I introduce them concept of you don't have to drink soda, but there may be fruit juices or maybe water. Diabetics cannot drink the fruit juices, they can have water. That kind of thing looked at the very concept at one time when I introduced 20, 30 years ago. But now, a lot of people drink water. A lot of people don't want to drink soda all the time, maybe once in a while, but not like an addiction. But then a lot of people go to the work with a big soda, and then they put it right next to the bed table and then drinking from it all the time. And that is how we kind of teach the body that we normally don't have the habits. And then they, that could be because of the culture, because of circumstances. But the main thing is we are unaware of what we are drinking and how it is going to affect us down the line. That's my point. So if you are aware of it, then you will be, cautious about it. You will drink only limited, and you won't create these habits. See, food is also kind of a social thing, right? People want to celebrate with food. So there are so many occasions to overload ourselves with the food that we don't need. And that's also body led. See, body and mind are something that you can train and untrain. But if you train and then leave it alone, then they will become problems down the line. So all the time I'm treating patients who have these diseases of civilization like diabetes, hyperlipidemia, and arthritis. Main reason is a lot of food problem and also inactivity. Right, this combination is deadly, and that is very prevalent in the culture. So we just have to revisit and say why I am getting habituated to this kind of things all the time. Why do I have to have snacks at all? Why do I have to have these beverage products? Why do I have to have this heavy calorie food? Because they invite you, eat all you can. Then we go there and then we eat all we can. Is that really wise? That kind of thing. One general rule is: are you eating when you are hungry, or are you eating habitual? That is a simple thing, right? Then you have to look inside and say, am I having this habit because I'm compelled to eat, or I go eat habitually, or I'm waiting for my appetite to work up, where the appetite is really, really good and I'm very hungry, then go and eat. Okay, you can train your body like that too. So that's a good way of fasting, making all the juices flow in your stomach, and then when you eat that is digested better, assimilated better. Then you will be happy that you have eaten right amounts, and then they really went into your system very well. Okay, so in yoga they talked about eating only one time a day. So what they did was they ate in the middle of the day one meal, that's a heavy meal, and that's it. They don't eat the breakfast, they don't eat the dinner. So that's that lifestyle. But then they said, if you are like a ordinary householder, that you are needing breakfast and lunch and dinner. That's also okay. But if you are strict, you can do only breakfast and dinner. Lunch you can skip too. That's a good formula to keep having the energy from the food, but at the same time not having the problems from the food. Obesity or having this eating disorders, anorexia, bulimia. All this start in psychological derangement and then reflects in abnormal consumption of food or fasting. Either way, right? Both of them, they are very bad too. Uh, so instead of taking the pillar of food into control, we are kind of voluntarily giving it away to our unconsciousness or unawareness of things, or our family or the society or the restaurant industry. They influence us what we should eat, what we should not eat, and all that. That is something you should really pay attention to, and pay attention to the habits that you are forming by unconsciously eating and all that. And then you will be changing your behaviors, and then you will be changing how much you eat. That's one way to look at it. Then the other aspect of this is nowadays nutrigenomics is a hot field now. So what it is we kind of study your genome, and we also know the genomic structure of the foods and then match them. Kind of, I'm putting very crudely, but that's kind of essence of that. But this was there way back thousands of years ago in Ayurveda and other sciences too, because they considered food as medicine. They didn't take it lightly. They paid a lot of attention to it, and they kind of knew we have some biological energies. They classified it into three, and the foods have combination of these bioenergies in different ways. So suppose your bioenergies are all normal, that's when you are healthy. They can go out of whack because of these behaviors I said. They also did the same behaviors in a different way, but the human frailty even was there. But then they adjusted to it, and then they studied their own biological energies and identified in plants and animals what is the bioenergies that match to us, and then took them in proportions that are equitable, equal proportions of bioenergies. That way, they kind of corrected the diseases that we have because of this out of balance eating, and then they balance it with external eating, and also some herbals are basically plant material, right, that goes into us and that gives us those energies. I'm putting it very plainly, but there's a lot more science in Ayurveda and also in nutrigenomics too. But I just want to introduce to people who are not aware of this. And now the food vitality, that means the real strength of the food, real vitality was going down as we became more modern, more chemical oriented crop raising, right? That means we use lot of insecticides, lot of fertilizers, lot of antibiotics in this farm fields, and that kind of undermined the vitality, and that poor vitality of the food undermined our immunity, our strength, and all that. Once you understand that, then you can really pay attention to the biological nature of the soil, the water, the air, and all of that. Biological nature means there are so many bugs that are really work on the plant material and give nutrients to the plants, right? And for example, you have compost at home. You are making manure for the plants and all that. What do? You dug up a big hole and then put in all sorts of leaves and waste and everything and cover it up and let it be there, putrefy kind of, okay, but it is actually really doing the biological vitality coming to that with all the bugs coming in. That kind of manure, we use it to raise the plants and vegetables. They have food that is really, really vital. Okay? So, if you pluck the vegetables that are grown in your garden like that and bring it and then freshly cook them instead of using the packaged goods or cans and all that, you do the live white live vegetables and then make a preparation, and as you cook it, don't heat it very late, just within 45 minutes of making the curry. If you do it, that has this natural energy, vitality, they call that prana. Ancient people call that prana. Prana means basically having the life in it, right? So if you eat them, your natural resistance, your natural immunity, your natural strength will go up. That is a very, very good thing too. So understand that. So looking at Ayurveda, understanding the routines of our body daily, and then eating vital food, all these things are very, very important for people. Okay, Remember about that, and then see whether those principles are in your daily life. The other way it is, how do you eat? Most of the people eat in a hurry. They gulp it down and then they go. That's not very healthy though. See, we have the 32 teeth and they are just to chew the food so that the digestion starts right from the mouth. There are hormones in the mouth, and then they initiate hormones in stomach, and then other organs come and all that, right? So you sit down and don't think that I'm eating something bad because I'm no. You eat whatever you eat, slowly chewing and savoring the food. So this is a lifestyle you don't do much attention because you do mechanically, or you eat while talking to somebody, or you just don't really smell or taste the food that much. It will go mechanically too. I've seen a lot of my colleagues in the hospital. They'll be running around just taking a sandwich and eating it unconsciously within a minute and go. That's not very good. Sit down and have your meal at least 5 to 10 minutes. While you're eating, just keep your mind there and chew the food, enjoy it, savor it, and then it will be much better assimilated, much better digested when you do that. Okay, especially after your certain age. While you are young and while you are really childlike, a lot of things can be digested very easily. But as you move into 30s, 40s, 50s, like that, it will go down. So that's why you have to have these measures more so in people who are elderly and all that, right? But it's a good habit to cultivate for the kids right from the beginning. Okay, eating at the table, sitting at the table, and paying attention to what is. Other thing is you got to think about the food as somebody who is giving its entire life to give you life. So those vegetables, those things that you eat, it is giving its, of course, animals for sure. They are giving their life to give us life. So you got to have some kind of awareness and really reverence to that. Then you are doing something good inside, and also you are grateful that you got it. A lot of people say that I'm grateful for eating the food. That's a good trait, I think. All these things are what inside jobs. So that's why I kind of put this as inside job, because we are going to for sure check the vegetables and fruits, are there palatable, are they safe or not. That's all external consideration. But what is happening within us in relationship to food? That's what the topic of this today is. That's why be aware of what's going on within you, and be aware of what is not only going within you, but how you are consuming it. That's very, very important. So getting the food production is very important. Get it vitally prepared food, vitally rich food, and then prepare it with a love. That's also why we like mom's cooking, because they put so much love into unconditional love. They make it for us. They're not making for them. They make it for us, and they're happy if we eat. Right? That is at least my mom's case, and a lot of moms I saw. My sisters, my wife, they are also moms, and they enjoy feeding their children, making for it. And that love is there, that comes through, and that is very enriching for us. Okay. Then we produce the food properly, we prepare it properly, we consume it properly. Then we need to think about how can we really dispose of the waste, being responsible and thinking of the earth, and then disposing of very important, and also using a lot of ways to recycle. Okay, and not using artificial plastic and all that as much as possible. These are not something I'm preaching you, something like a responsibility for us to help the earth. I think everybody will agree with that when you put it that way. So this is food is very, very important in so many ways, because people get obese. Then with the obesity, diabetes is much sooner, and high cholesterol are there, and also all the fat causes a lot of problems in winter and also summer. So people suffer from diabetes quite often. That is a big deal now. So many people are suffering because of the diabetes. So diabetes from head to toe, it affects all the vessels, and diabetes have 4 times common the heart disease. So if you are diabetic, it's always there like that. Okay, so think about that. Really pay attention to that. And some of the countries, even in India, they have become the diabetic capital of the world. So many people are eating the wrong way, and diabetes is a big problem there. So how do you avoid diabetes? Is eat sensibly and have activity a lot and sleep a good thing. And then if you need diabetic medication, that's fine. But lots of times you can do without the diabetic medication if you discover very early. So you can have an eye on what's going on in a family tree. And if there's tendency that more people are getting diabetic, and also look at the lifestyle, if they're active or not, if they're eating too badly, those things, right? Then you can take control of the diabetes. You can get tested in a 20 blood test that you can find out. And then if it is showing towards pre-diabetic state, that's when you can really take control of it, and then not make it reflect as diabetes. Even though you have the genes for it, you don't have to reflect it. So that's why you got to be close watch on this preventive tests which can discover. And then look at your diet, look at your activity. Those two things are very, very important. And also the sleep is very important. We will talk about it later, but then that's very important too. So these are all considerations about the food, the social aspect, the cultural aspect, the historical aspect, and then what is coming up now. What is the current stage of clinical status of food and problems, the addictions that people develop, and obesity that going on. All these things are problems. That's why if you are aware of what you are eating, what kind of foods are you eating? Are they grown with a lot of chemicals and insecticides, or they have grown organically, where you have organic energy and vitality? And then you can also participate in food production too, and prepare it properly and consume it properly and dispose of the waste in a recyclable way. That way, all the things that we throw away will be available to the life for the next generation too. So that is what the food thing is all about. I hope uh, you got the essence of what I'm trying to say. Is don't dismiss food as something essential or just to gulp it down. No, pay attention to it, pay respect to it, but do it properly in the way you prepare and you consume is very important. Follow your diurnal rhythm, your body clock, your daily routine. And then, if you do that early in the morning, going to the bathroom, maybe doing some exercise, working up the appetite, and eating very good breakfast where you have all the different types of the fruits. There is some grains, and there is some essential oils that you need, and also dairy products, all those minerals, everything are mixed together. If you eat a natural, good diet, always try to eat raw vegetables and fruits in some form of salad, or different way you can prepare and then consume the two. There are so many palatable ways you can make vegetables and fruits also. If you consume that, then ideally we should be eating fruits mainly and rest of them a little bit. But now eating everything, the grains and all that, when it comes to real fruits, we are eating very less. So one thing I found useful for me was I start the meal with a fruit. Okay. And then it could be fruit, it could be fruit salad, it could be anything like that, right? And then other things can come through. And also, if you should have a snack, try to have something like a raw vegetables cut down and put in a cup so that you can take it and immediately. That's what I showed my son. Take a cup, and cut down the carrots or celery and lots of things and put the sticks in there. And then when you're hungry, you can are in between also. That's a healthy snack that you can have. Maybe you can have a low calorie seasoning something, and then you can have them. Okay, that would be very good. In the morning also have some fruit, and then groups of all these other foods too. But if you can stay with each season, consume what the nature is producing naturally in that particular climate, that's a very commonsensical thing, very healthy thing in the long run. Okay, so I always talk about uh, spending some time in selection and preparation and consuming it. If you can do these things, I think you are assured that you'll be very good. Okay. So, with that introduction, if anybody wants to come up, we can talk about this a little bit. There are people on the Wisdom app. What's the time now? Like okay, 11:55. Okay. I hope you got the essence of what I'm trying to convey in this series. It is about our internal habits, internal tendencies, and you know genetic predispositions. All those things are there. But if you are alert, you can make good choices all the time. So in the morning, when you do the practices and everything, try to be in the present and carry that to every activity, including eating. Don't do that as a secondary thing and then paying attention to the conversation. That's what happens in our cafeteria. They all sit around the table and they'll be talking away and then just eating unconsciously. That is something I think we can avoid, because at least 1 or 2 meals you can eat by yourself. Even if you go for a meeting, first to finish the eating and then get the meeting going. That's what I do. I eat silently. I eat with awareness, and afterwards I say, okay, 5-10 minutes are done. Then I get into the meeting. I talk about the things and all that. So, but people are unconsciously eating and then conversing. That's something you may want to look at it and change it. It's a very simple lifestyle change, but it goes a long way for you. in the long So that's what I wanted to talk about today, and it's almost half an hour now. If you have any questions or comments, you can always come up, and I can engage you. Otherwise, I'll be seeing you again on Monday this time, so that we can talk about the next one, which is exercise. See, the four pillars I said of the wellness. One is food, activity, rest and sleep is the third category. And the fourth category, how do we manage our mind? The meditation, the awareness, all those things will come into that. That we'll talk about it in the final day. So, three more days are left. We'll talk about exercise Monday. At the same time, if you have any questions or comments, you can always DM me or come and ask in this way. Okay. I hope you got something out of this, and then I will uh, see anybody has any questions or they want to come up, they can come up. So, okay. I invited somebody there. Okay. It's gone to. All right. If you are all okay with what I have to say and don't have any questions, I will stop it here, and I will come back on Monday again, and we'll continue with the topic of doing an inside job on the four pillars of wellness and improving our awareness in these lifestyles, and thereby preventing problems even before they become real problems, and taking charge of our health and wellness. Okay, that's all I'm for. Take Be health conscious, be wellness conscious, and then pay attention to little things in the beginning. Once you nip them in the bud, they don't have to grow to be a big disease process. Even if have, there is a way to get back to health. Okay, but you have to work much harder. That's much more difficult than really maintaining our natural health, and things will happen. Things will always be there, but how disciplined you are, what kind of habits you have developed, how did you train your body and mind. That depends upon the family, culture, civilization, education, means to resources of money. All those things matter, right? But now we are in an era, we have a lot of information, lot of knowledge about this particular things, what to do, which to eat, what not to eat. But then, are they paying attention to inside? That is the new thing I'm talking about, and I'm bringing people to pay attention to that. Okay, for that you need to train your mind, and train your body. Stick with the routines of the body clock, with the body, with the mind. Don't interfere. Okay, that's a secret in that. Okay, being close to the nature and the nature of the body and diurnal cycles that it goes. So it goes to by itself, right? Automatically. Don't interfere with your mind. Keep the mind silent, but at the same time aware of what's going on. And then if you are developing habits, then the habits result in behaviors, and those behaviors lead to consequences. So you want to reverse engineer it and see where the habits are formed, how are they breakable? Do you want to break them or not? If you don't, what are the consequences? Understanding that, you can behave much better. Okay. All right. Then I'll be seeing you on Monday. Thank you. Thank you for being here, and I'll be talking to you on Monday. Bye.